right, guys. Had a little problem with the mic this morning, so I'm not sure what I'm gonna have to reshoot. But pump operator's priming out. I've got two guys over there finishing the bento bar around the one little sunken living room cold joint. And I'm gonna climb down the stairs. They're oiled up a little bit, so they're a little sketch. Okay, guys, so I was not mic'd up when I began shooting this, but Chewy, the main guy who did all this beautiful work, is on the hose right now. But I'll tell you guys, I'm gonna say this kind of quietly. This pump guy's gonna be trying today. He's for the plasticizer, got this stuff way too wet on the first truck, so we're not able to build in the wall right now. It's gonna be all right. I'm guessing it was not a 4. I didn't look at the mix before they plasticized it, so I'm gonna be pretty careful on the next load to watch what's going on. You can see Chewy down here, just running in the walls. In a perfect world, we'd be building up a little bit. Saw some concrete going down the hill. I was making sure it wasn't coming out the bottom, but it's not. He just missed a little bit. Obviously, we're dumping this in, and it's 18 inches thick in the bottom, and it's not coming up in the wall at all because it's just the plasticizer's doing its thing. They appear to have put warm water in this thing, which we in Missouri have been done with since I think April. I don't know why they did, but it's got steam rolling off of it. But it's gonna make it kick faster. So I guess in this particular instance, I'm happy. May not be when we're out here trying to do this entire floor. I may not love that hot water, especially because the sun's gonna be on it by then. So it's possible the first 4 trucks are coming out of a separate plant, and it's possible they didn't get the memo about the 4 slump. So when they plasticized it, it's obviously very, very plasticized. So I'm gonna take a look at this truck. Yo, hold on, wait, let me look. Wait. Just wait, hold on. Wait. Can I see a little bit? Can I see a little bit, roll a little bit? I'm trying to check to see if we can plasticize this or if it's gonna be coming out at a 5 or a 6 right now. We can't really plasticize it or we're gonna be not able to plug up I'm just trying to look at it was supposed to be at a 4 and the first truck came wetter than that and they plasticized it and we're a little wet. So I'm just want to look at it before he plasticizes this.
Okay. I got nowhere to put it right now.
Huh?
I got nowhere to put it.
I know, I was just trying to get a look at what's gonna be coming out. So while I'm walking around over here just kind of watching things, I went back, this is the second truck, and the first 4 trucks came out of one plant. Obviously when you're pouring over 200 yards, they're mixing and matching and doing their best to fulfill and stay on you and get a truck every 15 minutes to you for 10 hours. You're going to deal with some issues. And the one is the first 4 trucks did not get the memo on the 4 slump, so they're too wet, which is okay, but we can't put plasticizer in it without working all day trying to get the stuff to go, because it's probably coming out of the truck at a 6 right now. And so once they burn through that last yard of that first truck, hopefully he can start building it up in the wall a little bit. So I'll be hollering at him from up here. The pump guy, I was a little worried because he didn't seem too enthused about being at a Monopour today. I think you just start talking to people, be friendly, and I think he's a pretty good guy. I think it's gonna be all right now that he realizes kind of what we're doing and that it's a team effort. And I think we're gonna be good to go. All right, guys, so now that we've got into that next truck of mud, you can see the difference. Instead of it just flowing out, it's coming out maybe a foot and a half, and it's actually building in the wall. He's getting up in the wall about halfway. We'll let that kick off, and before it gets hard enough to cause a cold joint, we'll top this wall off, vibrate it really good, and let the finishers have the catch basin so they can finish it. And that's how we're gonna kick this whole job off, and then it's onto the monster side. Okay, guys, I'm starting to see some good stuff here. You see how the Monopour legs are leaving a streak in it. That's because the mud is about the right consistency now for what we're trying to do. That's what we want to see. So now the flatwork guy, instead of being able to finish almost the entire way across like he's doing over here, he's just going to get a grade line, which will make him move faster. He'll be able to keep up. is gonna go real nice. Maybe able to get a good video here about just how deep this mud is flowing in here. You know, by the time it gets to the top of the wall, it's 18 inches deep in the floor here. So you can imagine we're already on our third truck and we're still just filling the short wall and about half of the catch basin or less. So this consistency of the mud now is at least building in the wall. Chewy's able to come up a little ways, not a lot. Can't really get a good vantage on that right now. The sun's not ideal. But they're vibrating right behind him. And then the guy in the yellow shirt back there is giving the grade. So team effort, it's going pretty smooth so far. Hopefully this concrete kicks off a little bit and we are able to start stacking. Okay, you see, he started pouring where the footing starts tying in and it wouldn't build because it's so thick, guys. I mean, you can't really probably see this, but this 18-inch thick, it just leaves so much to flow out. But up under here, that's the concrete we've already poured, you know, 30 minutes ago right here. And so you can kind of see some little kind of shadow voids around the rebar. See that? And that is what a vibrator is for, right there. As this stacks on top of this and we're starting to build, see he's hitting it. And the guys will have to come in and give it a little grade, but after we vibrate. It's good, he's coming up the wall a little ways. We need to vibrate all of that into that. Everything's about keeping this thing one piece. All right, so we were actually able to stack this 4-foot wall. It was actually bulging out till we started vibrating. And so now it's finally starting to stack. Leo and his guys are starting to get grade right in the bottom of this catch. And we'll be able to top this wall in just a short time. I think we're gonna go this way and try to seal up the bottom of the tending ledge wall just to give us a little more time since that plasticizer in that first truck was a little sketch. So that's what all this stuff is, kind of game time decisions. The fifth truck showed up drier like we want it. So we're able to plasticize it a little bit so it's very flowable. It's not really stacking in the wall, but we're getting really good consolidation down here. But I don't know if you can see that 18-inch thick is just wild. That's the thickest floor I've ever done. And if you guys have ever like read or looked at about the Chernobyl disaster, this reminds me of the elephant's foot, the big radioactive mass that ended up in the basement. Just a big, giant blob. But they're doing great with the consolidation. We're just trying to plug up this wall. We haven't been able to get into the catch to completely top the wall, but we're hoping, the plasticizer's mostly gone out of that first truck, that when we get back around all the way over here, plugging up all the walls, we'll be able to top out the catch basin and concentrate in here. Okay guys, we just had our first near disaster. You see they kind of have a horizontal bastard joint because all this is poured from here down. And they had a plywood screwed here, but this seam right along here is empty. And I was pouring it, we were actually managing to top the wall out, but there's about 18 inches down here that is just this form and nothing on the inside because it's open. And I looked and it was bulging and it was shaking and vibrating as they were vibrating, and it almost went right here. We've got a decent bulge even behind the plywood here. So now Siete is gonna put this plywood on this seam and we're gonna move on and come back to it in 30-40 minutes. And be careful. That's half the name of the game in Monopour, and or doing anything with ICF where you've cut any of the structure away, is just having plenty of eyes that know what they're looking for and spotting it before you end up with a bunch of concrete on the floor. So now we are cooking with gas. We are double fisting this pump truck. We've got 2 trucks dumping into the hopper at the same time. And this is where you kind of got to start treating it like an art, not a science. Their 4 slump is a little bit wetter than a 4 slump in Missouri. And what I mean is it's probably a 5.5. And we started telling them to bring it at a 3. This guy came at a true 4. So we were able to plasticize him up, but the other guy still came. He was already on the road at the previous mix. So I've got one plasticized load and one a little too wet, and they're going in together at about the same slump. So it won't be quite as quick to kick off because it's not all plasticized, but we're working with what we got. But now the trucks are all running from the same plant now. They were running from two, so we were getting a little bit of inconsistency with the water. Now they're all running from the same plant the rest of the day, and it's the same drivers. So now they kind of get what we want, so it should get real consistent from here out, which is good because here in a little bit we'll be on that slope, and we need it to be pretty consistent for all that. Yeah, you hand it to, yeah, you're good, rinse it down. All right, guys, you can see this one actually came at a good 4, a real 4. So he just put some plasticizer. Cool thing about this job, it's such a big job, and a lot of the concrete plants here want to dose the plasticizer at the plant, which is, we've talked about, not all that effective. He actually bought 330-gallon chemical totes of plasticizer, so we dose it ourselves. It's kind of a fantastic way to know we're able to control it, because we didn't give this a full dose. The plasticizer is really working on this mud, and we don't want it at a 7, so we are kind of dialing it in as we go. We're on about the 8th truck, and we're kind of, now that we're getting the water right, we're able to get the plasticizer dialed in. All right, so a lot of times we don't have to do this, because on a 18 by 36 or something, 12-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch thick floor, whatever, we're able to get it stacking in the wall early enough. But we've got all this stuff that's spilled out that's starting to stiffen up. You're doing great, you're doing great. So we pour this little bit, like a 2 to 3 foot band, and let the flat work guys come in and get their grade going. But while he's doing that, he's vibrating the new into the old. That buys us another hour or more before we need to really be on the floor, because they can work this edge, and this stuff here that's starting to get stiff is now integral to the next pass. And we do the same thing in the wall, guys. We kind of just keep moving, and that's what a lot of pump guys will want to just blow and go and stay in the same spot, but you got to make them play ball and do it our way, and it works out really nice. You can see this mud's really starting to stand up the way we want it. So this is why the homeowner brings me in to do this, as well as, and this is where if you guys are going to do this, you've got to be ready to advocate. They're working their way over here, and timing is working out okay, but the whole point of all of this is to not get cold joints. And you see, this is okay. We still got, it's wet right here, right? It's wet, we're fine. But you got to keep watching this. Over here, we're getting a lot stiffer. So in the next 10 minutes, I need this done and vibrated in, and they're not going to want to come over here that quick, but they got to. And I'm getting ready to bring them over, and the pump guy won't like it, but that doesn't matter. So ultimately, that's why you guys bring me in on consults, is to probably be the bad guy that they can blame after I leave, so that the pump guy doesn't hate them for the next pour. But anyway, good times. All right, guys, what they're doing now is, if you remember, we got that window they're putting in. So they're filling up in these holes they cut, and then they got to vibrate down in them. It's a total pain in the butt, but they're getting it. That'll be a little bit of a tedious process, and then we're going to be able to fill up this entire wall, that wall up to the bottom of the glass, and this ramp before we get a cold joint. And then we'll probably do a pass on the rest of the wall, and then we'll probably have to start sharing with the floor guys. All right, guys, so during the middle of the pour, it was obviously super busy. My microphone was dead, and I just started shooting lots of clips so I could talk you guys through it here. Once we got the mix right, Chewy was able to start building up in a lot of these walls, capping them off. Luckily, he had put together a big enough finishing crew that once we started topping things off, like these stairs, I should say every bit of this is getting tile. It's Southern California, we're not worried about freeze thaw, and everything's getting tile, so shape is a lot more important than finish. You don't want any big humps that they're gonna have to grind down during the finishing process. But ultimately the finish just needs to be super flat, and you don't want the stairs bulging and whatnot. Right here I just kind of was trying to show, I never could get a really good clip of just how deep and intricate that rebar was, but I actually did just buy a new DJI Osmo camera that I'll be able to pump, push down in the walls and stuff to really get you guys some cool angles on some of that stuff, because it really didn't do it justice. just how much concrete was going into that floor and the amount of rebar that we were vibrating around and everything. Also, just cannot give enough props to the crews that he had put together. I mean, you just watch these guys in all the background stuff, and every move every single guy was making, they were making it count. They listened really well. Really, other than, you know, the pump operator and the concrete plant not always getting the water right, everyone else was like totally on board from moment one. And ultimately, everybody was good later in the day as we got everybody to buy into the process. All right, guys. This will do it for this video, but don't think it could have gone better. The crew Kevin and Chewy put together was just full of hard workers that all were team players. The pump guy was a little difficult, but if that's the worst thing we have to deal with, it wasn't that bad. 200, it ended up being 225 yards all in. That included a little bit of filling up some cinder blocks outside of there, and this little retaining wall they're working on outside of the pool. I'll probably have another short video next week. I'm gonna come back over here tomorrow morning before heading to Orange County to see some of my other clients and do a little post-mortem once I can get in there and walk around. But I'll do that in a completely separate video, probably a lot shorter than the last two on this pool. But yeah, guys, new record for me as far as yards poured on a Monopour ICF pool by nearly 100 yards. So it was elaborate. This thing is going to be absolutely wild when it's done. We're now going to start working. Eric with all three is going to start working on a lot of their pumps and lights and everything. I mean, they got a good hydraulic design. They got massive amounts of floor returns, big 4-inch floor returns to make sure we can get a boil over 200 feet of infinity edge. But beyond that, yeah, guys, don't forget we got training coming up literally August 15th, maybe really close by the time this video hits. Don't know if we have any spots left, but definitely always go to all3pools.com for any of your training or ICF pool needs. We do sell full complete build kits on anything from vinyl liners all the way to stuff like this. So like I said, guys, we're probably the best resource you could ask for, and we love doing it anywhere in the world. Okay, guys, I think I'm done. We got it done here. I actually shot a little video with Chewy earlier, and I did what I always do, and I left my microphone turned off, so I got no footage out of it. But I told Chewy now it looks like he actually did something.
Well, how are you feeling about this party today?
I feel pretty good about the party we had today. Chewy was on that pump for about 200 of the 225 yards. I take credit for the other 25 yards. But I got to tell you guys, I know in the last video you saw all the rebar work we did. He did. All of this setup is him and his guys. They are absolutely masters of all the rebar work, all this ICF work. Man, you're doing great work.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, you did it. We got done with this thing. Guys, I'm going to give you a little quick end to this video, and I will see you next week.